Hello everyone, Connor Whitmore here again with another video for you on the Nawtystep channel, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about the new EP from Oddprophet released on Never Say Die Records, Optical Illusions. Here we go, a new collection from Mr. Tobias Joseph, his first since Precognition from August 2018. An EP that when I hear again now, I'm reminded of how great it was and is. One that I think has aged extremely well in the last year and a half or so. Of course, there are tunes of the four I prefer, but each one has something very distinct and memorable about it. He's kept busy in the time between EP releases, most notably his string of 4 originals put out last year. The undoubted highlight being The Devil. We also got a VIP of that. Collaborations with Volgatron, E-Craze, Tracy. But I was interested as to how he'd follow up his last EP with the inevitable next one, which we now have here. Would we see a significant development stylistically, or more of the same? One of those where I think he's still at the relatively early stage of his career, so the possibilities are still quite endless. Now, this particular review is going to be a bit of an experiment, going to meld the live review approach with the normal review one. What I'm going to do is run through the EP and provide thoughts as it goes along. Difference being, I've heard it a few times already. Got some notes on all 4 tunes, gonna go through them all, and then conclude with closing stuff at the end. So yeah, here we go, track 1, title track. Actually, before we get going, great artwork, really fucked me up when I first saw it, and with that title, exactly how it should be. Very dramatic opening, quite intimidating almost, which I think works in a very uncomfortable way, if you get me. Getting the elements, or the mix of elements there, I think completely spot on. Yeah, it really helps to create a mood and set a scene, if you will, in the opening seconds of the EP. Quite brief though, I think could have led in with a longer sequence before what we get. I imagine by this point pretty much all of you have heard it, but yeah, I do think the intro and build here could have been a bit longer before we get the first drop. Oh yeah, those bits, those little grisly bits are brilliant. Classic in-your-face approach, quite prehistoric sounds as usual, and those classic elephant-like noises as well on offer. Snare, I think, could have smacked a bit harder there, to make it fully impactful and yeah, just hit a bit harder. Sounds kind of like it's folding in on itself, but yeah, I think overall I'm really liking the wildness and again, in-your-face approach that we are getting from him once again. Love that. This is fantastic. Love the contorted delivery. Swamps you, swallows you whole, spits you out. Really nice deep sound. Little moment before building again. This is like, watch out mate, watch out, I'm coming for you. Oh yeah. Yeah, that little switch up, very, very nice, more savage, and just tears at you like a ravenous beast trying to get at you. A really, really good change. And again, and again. I love that. Good repetition in that double drop. Pretty similar to the last one. With, again, little changes. Really, really gets you. Okay, number 2, Too Clever. This reminds me of like the dust settling before a big battle in a hero movie or something like that. Very dramatic. Again, well done. At that point, with that vocal, I realised he has a particular kind of vocal that he likes to use more often than not. A deep, dark, serious male voice preparing us for something that's about to happen. This drop idea, stop-start, not an idea that strikes me as particularly different or new for him. I think quite straightforward. Again, of course, his design, his aesthetic, but I think a kind of drop idea that we've got a few times from him before. So yeah, not for me anything notably different, new or fresh from him here. Okay, so yeah, of course, quite similar to what we've got before, which is fine, you know, just a continuation of the first drop, but just had to stop it for those talk sounds. I think they are great, making the whole drop kind of layout we get here more dynamic, just kind of offsetting them a bit, which is cool. I think they really work. I mean, certainly getting his style in abundance here. Those trumpets, by the way. Dubstep trumpet gang. Let's go! The reason this one for me works a bit better is because more of the gaps are being filled. Bit of a better flow, more dynamism and appeal, which I think is necessary and needed to keep it going. Double drop again, coming up. Here we go. Similar kind of stuff, but I must say what I do really appreciate is that he didn't do the whole talk sound thing again. He could easily have done it again, but I think the fact we get it once makes it more special in that first drop, first double drop. Must say though, by this point, I think it gets a bit much, a bit overbearing, and I think maybe could have ended after the second drop. Not sure we needed another double drop here. Okay, track 3, Phantasm. Dark, brooding introduction here. Appreciating the integration of that classic vocal. Not sure where it comes from originally, but for the most renowned example, look up Hackney Parrot by Tesla. I love the vibration of that build, the pulse of it just kind of bubbling underneath. Really, really well done. I like the aggression and purpose of it, but again, the snare unfortunately puts me off. Just doesn't hit hard enough, like it kind of, again, folds in on itself, doesn't have any weight behind it. The reason I find that one interesting in particular is because it's quite different for him, not so in your face, loud, abrasive, and kind of wild, if you will, a bit more distant. Throws you off a bit, but I think can be appreciated for what it is because, as I said, just not quite as loud and full on as usual from him. Not that emphatic or impactful as an idea, but I think, yeah, the fact that it is different means we can appreciate it as it is. This is good as well. Moody, atmospheric, those industrial synths kind of washing over you. Again, really well done. Lovely, lovely fake out. And I like how the percussion carries on into the drop. Really well done. Really good angling of everything here against each other. Very aware as a development as well. Still the issue of that snare though for me, yeah, just kind of just folds in on itself and has kind of like a pillowy, feathery delivery as opposed to a heavyweight, fucking full throttle, fucking came in like a wrecking ball kind of delivery. Pretty similar to the first double drop, maybe a little bit more full on. I think the fact that I can notice changes but that they're still quite subtle is a very good thing. You don't want them to be too obvious if you're making them slight, and that's what he's done there. And now we are into the final tune. Tune number 4, Rhythm Love Song. I've heard this one a few times by now, and I do feel quite an emotional connection with it, I can't lie. That melodic progression, the main vocal snippet in the background, the recorded voice, just a really, really nice mesh of elements here. Love it. Oh, that is pure chills, man. Honestly, beautiful. Oh, everything works together here so well. Fuck. And also the way the main vocal snippet is carrying on here into the build is, yeah, really working for it. Trumpet fake out. Okay, so the way I see this drop section starts off a bit plain ideas-wise, but the percussion is fantastic, pretty much perfect. Really love the punch of it and the directness of it. The thickness of it as well proceeds to get wilder and wilder as it goes on. But the main point I want to make is that I feel it's an Oddprophet version of Chaos by Must Die. The layout, not dissimilar, the brass sounds before each drop section. By the end, I'm enjoying it a lot, just like Chaos. And yeah, that was the biggest take that I got from it. Those voice recordings are from fans, I think, or friends, I don't know, but yeah, to my knowledge, just from people that he knows or who follow him, which is a really clever idea and a nice touch. This is brilliant because if you're gonna have a drawn-out midsection at any point in a project or a collection, then put it at the end, you know, that puts everything in the collection in perspective and provides a chance to reflect on the EP, album, compilation, whatever as a whole. Final drop. Let's go. Oh! Love that! Oh, come on! Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, ideas-wise, way more ambitious than the first one. But a little funny bit coming up here.
This is me when I walk into Tesco's and there's lots of sausage rolls section.
An absolutely vintage Oddprophet ending, that. Overall, though, whilst I don't think it's a significant development on the Oddprophet style, I'd say it's another enjoyable collection from him for sure. Pretty mad he's come up with such an identifiable style, and so recently in the current dubstep climate, where so much sounds so similar. It's one that people love, that prehistoric, compact, tear-out delivery, one that others are trying to do but which is very particular to him. And when everything works together, I get a lot from it, but I find the overall impact of it less because I feel like I've heard a good amount of it by now. Going forward, I'd love to see him experiment with his sound in terms of genre, maybe a hybrid trap tune, maybe some D&B or house, anything. Stuff to keep his approach ticking along because, as I mentioned, although I can still really appreciate it sonically, not as statement making as before with Precognition, because I'm more used to it now. Also, whilst I appreciate the loud, in-your-face delivery of his style again here, a few times it goes overboard production-wise in comparison to what we've got before from him. Honing in on the loudness of it, with the production quality being compromised a little, talked about bits of drop percussion here and there, before pretty much always matching the invention of the idea with fantastic production quality. But here every drop either has one aspect or the other. Rhythm Love Song, I think, running closest to that sweet spot. Still a good amount of memorable stuff though, drops in the opener and closer, vocal samples throughout, particular melodies in the intro and midsection of Rhythm Love Song, and the general affront and confrontational appeal of the EP overall. I also really like the length of the tunes here. Many today of this style in this ballpark are far too short, but here we have a 4-track EP clocking in at over 16.5 minutes, which I think is impressive. Overriding feeling for me though is definitely one of I like a good amount of what we get here, but it's a good point to spice up his style and give it a few new looks, if you will. Will be a test of his prowess as a producer, whether he can fit his design into different formats, tempos, structures, all of that, but one I'm sure he can do where others can't and are more limited. Could take his style to another level altogether and unleash it in a new way. It's another good outlay of his sound, optical illusions, and another summation of what Oddprophet is about, but a sign also, I think, to bring something new to the table now. Now, in terms of my favourite, I would have to go with Riddim Love Song. For me, the most going for it overall and the most rounded and complete in feel, I think. And in terms of recommendations, if you enjoyed the EP, then his sound, I think, is quite unique. So yeah, just check his old stuff. If you liked this EP, then you will like his old stuff, no doubt. But there we have it. My thoughts on the new EP from Oddprophet, released on Never Say Die Records, Optical, Illusions. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. But what did you guys make of the EP? Do you have any favourite tracks or one track from the 4? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, then be sure to give it a big old thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. If you haven't already, hit the notification bell along the way so you can be notified whenever I upload a new video to the channel. And my social media accounts are linked in the description box down below. And if you want to find some other EP reviews on the channel, then I will link them right here. And lastly, if it's naughty, then you know guys, so be sure, as always, to keep it naughty and stay safe. And I shall see all of you legends in the next one. Oddprophet, Optical Illusions, EP review. Peace out.